They all thought he is a man of God. They thought his miracles came from God, but it's all from the devil. Mangas the monster was always there to make his miracles work, but when Pastor Colin broke his promise to Mangas, the consequences were severe. Greed and poverty made Colin become a pastor. Colin is a 30 years old man. He doesn't have a job and is struggling so much to make a living. Colin used to beg on the road, pretending to be a beggar, but that wasn't even earning him much. He got the idea of pretending to be a pastor when he visited a church and saw how the members of the church were paying their offerings and tithes. He got greedy. Colin struggled and bought himself a suit and a bell and a Bible, and he started preaching the gospel on the village streets. People would give him money after listening to his preaching, and Colin was very happy. He started this new business. He saved and rented a small space where he set up as his new church. Colin was very happy, thinking that he will get all of the tithes and offerings all to himself now that he has a church. But unfortunately for Colin, he got no member the first 2 months he started his church. He went round the streets begging and inviting people to come to his church. Colin became tired and confused on what to do because people were not showing up at his church. He wanted to have so much members, and so he decided to visit a native doctor far inside the bush. Colin got to the native doctor's house one night and he explained the whole thing to him. "Sir, I want to have so many members in my church. Please make me a very popular pastor. I want to be performing signs and wonders." The man assured Colin that he will make him a popular pastor with so many members, but he has to do a particular ritual once every week. Colin immediately agreed to do it. He didn't even think twice. He was so desperate to be rich. The native doctor did some rituals on Colin and told him to return home. Sunday came. Collins prepared for church, and surprisingly, he had so many members in his church. He couldn't believe his eyes. He was so surprised by how many members he got in his church that Sunday. He was so happy. By the end of the service, Collins counted the offerings and tithes he got that Sunday. He was really glad because it was a lot. He was very happy and he went back to thank the native doctor. Colin's life changed for good. He became so rich, with so many rich people attending his church now. He fulfilled his promise of doing the ritual that the native doctor told him to do every week, and everything was going so well for him. He got married to one of the ushers in his church, and he had a very big and luxurious wedding. 2 years later, his wife gave birth to twins. They were so happy. Colin was the happiest. He threw a very big party to welcome his twins. Everything was going well for Collins, his church, and his family. They were living as a perfect family. Until one day, he got a call from the native doctor and the native doctor told him that he needs to make a sacrifice. If not, his church is going to lose its popularity as well as its members. He was surprised. He didn't want that to happen, and so he asked the native doctor, "What kind of sacrifice? Am I bringing a goat or a lamb?" But unfortunately for Collins, the native doctor asked for one of his twins. He was so surprised because he didn't even tell the native doctor that he gave birth to twins. So how the man knew was so confusing to him. And immediately he refused, telling the native doctor that he can't do such a thing. "They are my world. I just gave birth to them, so why should I sacrifice them?" he told the native doctor. And the native doctor warned Colin of the consequences of refusing to sacrifice the twins. The native doctor told him that it would be severe, but Colin ignored him and hung up on the native doctor. Collins became so worried. He was so scared of the consequences of refusing the native doctor. He was always lost in thought. He thought about it and he said, "I can't sacrifice my twins. They are so innocent. They've just been given birth to. I can't do such a thing to them." He was always lost in thought, and his wife Kendall noticed that something is wrong with her husband. She questioned him on so many occasions. "Honey, what is it? Talk to me. Is there an issue in the church?" But Colin always reassured her that he is fine. The native doctor kept calling Colin, warning him that the gods are angry with him, as he isn't doing what they told him to do. And every time the native doctor calls Colin, he would refuse him. Few months later, things started going so bad for Colin. His members reduced. He lost the powers to heal people. He no longer performed miracles in his church. And people started gossiping. "He's a fake pastor," they said. His members left. They said, "He has lost his powers. We don't know what's happened. He used to perform miracles so well before. So what went wrong?" His members said, but no one knew the truth except for Pastor Colin. Pastor Colin's church in the city suddenly collapsed one evening, shocking him. He immediately traveled to the city and almost cried when he saw his church that he spent billions on collapsed. He was so pained, and he knew where all of these issues were coming from. It is because he refused to sacrifice one of his twins. Things were so bad, and he knew he has to act fast. If not, things will become worse. It was a very tough decision to make. It was very hard. He eventually decided to give up one of his twins. He cried because he loves his family so much. "I will miss her," he said. One night, Colin was about to go to sleep in his room when the weather suddenly changed. The wind was so heavy, so he decided to close his window. But as Colin stood up, he was so shocked to see a demonic creature in his room. He shouted out of fear, and the creature said, "I am Mangus, sent by the God that you serve. I have come to warn you to do what you are told to do, else your life will be taken away from you, as long as that of your entire family." And after the monster Mangus said that, it disappeared. Colin was so shocked. He has never seen a monster that ugly before. After After that encounter, he couldn't even sleep because he was so scared. The next day, he visited the native doctor and he told him that he's ready to sacrifice one of his twin children immediately. In order to get control of the twin in the spiritual realm, the native doctor asked for their name, and Colin told him their full name, thereby sacrificing one of his twins. Colin sacrificed Christiana, and she cried. Kenda cried her eyes out after the sudden death of one of her twin, Christiana. She wasn't sick. Kendall just found her lifeless next to her twin. She cried her eyes out, begging her husband to perform his miracles of bringing back people to life. He shouted, "Honey, please bring her back to life just like you do." But Colin couldn't do anything. Kendall became so lost and confused on what killed her daughter. She believes it's not an ordinary death, and so she started praying and fasting. One night, Kendall woke up to drink water in the middle of the night, and shockingly, she caught Collins with so many diabolical things, performing something that looked like a ritual. Kendall couldn't believe her eyes. She was shocked to see her husband, a whole Pastor Colin, performing a ritual. She was so angry, but then it started making sense to her. She started connecting all of the dots. Colin isn't a real pastor, and he wasn't even called by God. She started crying. "Colin, why? Why did you do this? You're supposed to be a pastor, a man of God. So why are you performing a ritual?" Colin was ashamed of himself. He didn't know what to say to his wife as he has been exposed, and he isn't meant to be seen by anyone while performing his weekly ritual. That was what the native doctor said to him as a warning. He tried talking to Kendall, but she was too scared of him. Collins was like a stranger to her. She ran to her room, locked herself inside, and she started praying so much. She prayed to God to deliver her from the clutches of her husband. And as Kendall was praying, the monster Mangus appeared to Collins once again, and he told him to stop his wife from praying, or it is going to destroy all of his charm. And Collins was scared of losing all that he has worked for all his life, and he decided to stop his wife, even if it means he will have to buy her. Colin became a different person entirely. It was as if he was possessed or something. He started hitting the locked door, ordering Kendall to open the door and to stop praying. Kendall didn't stop. She kept praying to God to deliver Colin and save her. Colin couldn't break the door open, so Mangus the demon did. They entered the room, and Kendall was shocked to see the kind of demon her husband got his pass from. She continued praying. She didn't stop. She was speaking in tongues, and the monster suddenly started screaming in pain and agony. Colin was surprised that his wife has the power to destroy the demon. He was so surprised. The monster disappeared immediately out of fear. And it was just Kendall and Colin. Colin knelt down and he started begging Kendall. He confessed to everything he has done. He told her that he saw it as a business opportunity and that God didn't really call him. He said he was suffering so much and he couldn't take it anymore. And so he had to pretend to be a pastor to get the offerings and tithes. He confessed to everything. He even confessed to sacrificing their child. And that totally broke Kendall. After confessing, Colin started screaming so much. It was so scary and Kendall was scared. And Colin fainted. When he woke up, Colin was bedridden. He was so sick. He told Kendall to call his senior pastors in the church, and she did. He confessed to everything he has done to his pastors. He asked God for forgiveness. They prayed for Colin, but unfortunately, he didn't make it. Colin died because he broke the covenant that he has with the native doctor of never telling everyone what he did. And as a true Christian, Kendall told the entire church congregation everything that happened, everything that her husband did. Some stayed, some left. Kendall became the pastor of the church, and the holy son, Christian, took over the church when he was of age. And unlike his father, Christian was a true pastor, called and ordained by God. The end. So guys, thank you so much for watching this story. Please do not forget to like and share to your friends. Let them learn 1 or 2 lessons from this story. Please do not forget to subscribe to this channel and tap on the notification bell so every time I post a new video you get to know, and then you come watch the new story. Thank you so much guys for your support and everything. Please do not forget to comment. Let's make the comment section a very interactive place. Thank you so much and see you guys on my next story. Bye.